Lesson 4, topic multi-step equations, learning target. I can solve equations by distributing and combining like terms. Review. So from last lesson, we talked about combining like terms. Like terms, if you remember, are terms that have the same variable part. So those would be 5x and 3x because they both have an x. Constant terms are terms with no variable part. So that would be 9 and -2 because they don't have a variable. Combining like terms would be adding or subtracting terms that have the same variable part. So that would be like adding 5x and 3x to make 8x, and then combining 9 and -2 to make +7, because we can combine them by aligning them with their like terms. New vocab. Distribute is multiplication. Whenever you see the word distribute, I want you to think multiply. So when you see the word distribute, what do you think? That's right, you should think multiply. Multiplication over addition and subtraction. So here's two visual examples. You distribute the A to the B. So you take A, multiply it by the B, you get A times B. And then you distribute A to C. So you take A, give it to C, A times C, and since there was a plus sign in the middle, there's still a plus sign in the middle. Here's some number examples. Multiply. 5 times x gives you 5x. 5 times 6 gives you 30. Plus sign in the middle stays a plus sign in the middle. So let's use this to solve equations. Steps to solving equations. Now our new first step is to distribute. You know you have to distribute if you see parentheses. So when we look at our first equation, we see parentheses right here, and there's a negative sign outside. There's no number with that negative sign. It's really a -1. So we're going to distribute a -1. And remember, distribute just means multiply. So we're going to multiply the -1 by the 3k, which is -3k, and then -1 by the 12. Now there are two ways you can do this. I like to take the sign with the number. I'm going to multiply it by -12. So -1 times -12. A negative times a negative is a positive, which means I'm going to put a plus sign. And then 1 times 12 is 12. Equals 48. Next step we have to look at is combine like terms. Well, if we look, we have a -3k and a 12. Those are not like terms, so we don't have any like terms to combine. So we don't have to do step 2. Sometimes that happens. We have a step we don't have to do. So we move on to the next step, which is undo addition and subtraction. So we have plus 12 here. We want to undo that with -12. On both sides. 12 minus 12 is 0. We can bring down the -3k. Equals 48 minus 12 is 36. So we did distribute, we did undo addition and subtraction. Now our last step is to undo multiplication and division. So we have times right there. So to undo the times by -3, we divide by -3. -3 divided by -3 is +1, so it leaves us with 1k equals 36 divided by -3. Positive divided by a negative is a negative. 36 divided by 3 is 12. So we have k equals -12. All right, next example, we have 4 equals 4 times the quantity k plus 3. Now, if this bothers you, you can flip the sides around. We can put the 4 on the other side and do 4 equals, and then put this on this side, 4k plus 3. You can do that. It works the same, but I'm going to show you how to solve it when it's flip-flopped around like this, because it works the same, and we should be able to be versatile. So we still draw the line here. Now we're just going to be working on the right side more. So we need to distribute because we see parentheses. So we're going to multiply 4 times k. 4 times k is 4k. 4 times 3 is positive 12, so I'm going to put plus 12. Equals 4. That 4 is still over there. So now if we look on the side with our variable, which is right here, 4k and 12, we cannot combine like terms because we don't have like terms. One has a k, one does not. So since we did our distribution and we don't have to combine like terms, we move on to our next step, which is undo addition and subtraction. So we have plus 12, so we're going to undo that with minus 12. If I do it on the right, I also have to do it on the left. 4 minus 12 is negative 8 equals, I can bring down my 4k, and 12 minus 12 is 0. Last step is to undo multiplication and division. So if we look with k, 4 times k needs to be undone with division. So we're going to divide by 4 on both sides. Negative 8 divided by 4 is negative 2 equals 4 divided by 4 is 1. So it just leaves us with k. So negative 2 equals k, or k equals negative 2. All right, one last problem here. We have a kind of bigger equation, so we're going to have to use all 4 of our steps this time. So we're going to distribute first by getting rid of these parentheses. Now, we have this 2 on the outside, but we have to make sure we take it with its sign. That minus sign is making that 2 a negative 2. So when we distribute, we have to distribute the negative 2. Negative 2 times 3x is negative 6x. Negative 2 times 7 is negative 14. This 4x is still in the problem, so we bring it down. Equals this negative 17. So that's the distribute step. The next step is to combine like terms. So if we look right here on this side, we have 4x and negative 6x. They both have an x, which means we can put them together by doing 4 minus 6. 4 minus 6 is negative 2, and the x stays with it. Minus 14 stays with the equation, equals negative 17. So that's combining like terms. And now we have undo addition and subtraction, undo multiplication and division. We've been working on these for a little bit, so I'd like you to try finishing this equation and then inputting your answer with Edpuzzle. And then once you're done with that, you can go on into the practice.